Hi everybody, this is All Things Cheryl here to do a recap and a review of I Am Queen Sugar, episode 13, season 4. But before I go on, I would like to say congratulations to Queen Sugar. Basically, they have been picked up for another season, so we will be seeing them uh, in episode 1 and season 5 very soon. Uh, Now, Oprah and Ava, I'm going to have to say, y'all did that one. That was basically a twister. Y'all did that. Yeah, definitely did that one. So we're going to go on and we see that Charley and Micah basically is at home and Michael is fixing a sandwich. Charley comes in and asks Michael, says basically, is one of those for him? Is one of those for me? Excuse me. And of course, he fixes his mother a sandwich. And this is where the two of them have a little conversation. Michael basically apologized to his mother in the way he delivered that message in terms of letting his mother basically know that he will not be attending Harvard. And and he said that he should have came at her a different way. He should have let her know before she basically got very, very upset in front of the family. And so this is when Charley tells Micah that she just wants him to have all of the advantages and take all of the advantages, that he would get more advantages if he would basically go to Harvard. And basically, Michael says that he has already have advantages, and that he going to use, the advantages and stuff that he has with the college that he basically is going to be attending. Now, a lot of you all know that Michael had decided to basically go to a historical black college, and I kind of sort of, like everybody else says, I kind of sort of thought that and had a feeling that he would be going to basically black college. Now, we don't know exactly in his choice of choosing a black college how he is going to be, because this is going to be a whole new experience for him. Um, Charley says that it basically is going to take her some time. She's sorry that it's not the answer that he thought he would basically get from his mother. But the mere fact of the matter is that she says it's going to take her some time. And who knows, he may change his mind, or he may, basically go to the historical black college first, take up 4 years, do 4 years or whatever, and basically he might go to Harvard to do, because he's going to do his master's somewhere, or he's going to get into something. So who knows? Charley, don't give up on him yet, because he might wind up going to Harvard anyway. We don't know. So we go on, and we get this big old huge knock at the door. And who is it? It's a couple of policemen basically here to basically arrest Charley, and saying that she was the person who was responsible of burning down her mill, and they wanted to charge her with fraud, and also I think it was with the intent of fraud, and burning down her own sugar mill. I can't see why she would want to burn down her own sugar mill. We know that this was basically a setup, right? And so everybody is basically upset. The family is basically in the jail, waiting for Charley basically to come out of the jail. And Ralph Angel is basically pacing back and forth. He's highly upset, and he's he just going off. And so he basically said a couple of curse words and everything. And this is when the officer says, "Sir, could you control your language inside?" And then this is right. This is when Ralph Angel said racism. And so then this is when invalid walked up to Ralph and said, "Look, Ralph, you basically need to kind of calm yourself down. It's gonna be okay." Ralph Angel is wondering where his sister is, and then this is when Ralph Angel is still on the warpath. He said, he told his aunt, he says, "Aunt, this is not no time to be, polite and everything. They basically have my sister." And so we basically see Charley basically comes out, and she's upset and everything, and they ask her how she's doing and everything. Charley says, "I'm doing fine. Nothing that my lawyer can't handle." And so this is when basically Nova went and tried to say something to Ralph Angel before Charley got back out of jail. And that Ralph Angel, everybody is kind of sort of allowing Nova to kind of work her way back into the family, except Ralph Angel. Ralph Angel went off on Nova when she was trying to calm him down. And then this is when Ralph Angel said, "Ain't nobody speaking to you, Nova. Ain't nobody said nothing to you." And so finally, Ralph Angel basically did calm down. He did calm his little happy butt down. And so this is when, like I said, Charley basically comes out, finds out that someone has basically called the press in, and then the press was basically outside. And then this is when Nova told Charley, "Well, what do you want to do?" Charley says, "You got a compact." So basically she fixes herself up. And after she fixes herself up, this is when she basically go and tell the reporters that all of this is basically a bogus. Basically, the people who was responsible for this, and that whoever tried to basically set them up, and that they missed. In other words, they missed. She says, "Whenever you coming, if you're going to come for the people of St. Joe, and if you going to come for my family, you better come. But this time, you basically missed." She said something like that. I mean, the dialogue, the writers this year was very, very good. And so then we see that we go on, and everybody at the press is basically asking them all kinds of questions, right? And so Charley kind of like defeated and told the press, "Look, I know whoever who tried to, stop me." She said, "I know that you guys are doing voter suppression." Basically, they are doing voter suppression. They're trying to stop people from their making it to the polls. And so we go on, and we go on, and Aunt Violet is basically at the diner, right? Aunt Violet is at the diner, and basically she's, waiting. And so then all of a sudden, Sam comes into the diner. And then this is Aunt Violet says, "What took you so long? I called in my favor and everything." And then Sam says, "Well, I'm sorry that it basically took it so long. I basically kind of had to wait." And then Aunt Violet says, "Oh, wait to see to see, Charley in jail." And he was saying, "Well, I basically had to, let it play out." Okay. All right. And so basically what happened was that Sam Landon gave Aunt Violet all kinds of information about Frances, his basically sister. And so this is when we find out that Sam, like Chocolate Mocha, Sam had basically asked Aunt Violet about a woman who he basically, I guess when he was much younger, had a fancy to. We find out that Sam has a baby girl, right? Now, when we're going to get into it a little bit more. We find out that Sam has a baby girl. We also find out that Aunt Violet had something to do with helping Sam to basically get I guess the baby out of town or whatever, and then he goes on and asks his Aunt Violet, have you basically been in contact with Betty? I believe Betty is the woman that I guess Sam had a little fancy to, and so we find out that Sam has a baby girl, and so we also find out that Aunt Violet tells Sam that really the last time I heard that she graduated Spelman and then she graduated another school. So Queen Sugar is really, really pushing the narrative, and it's good that they're really not, I mean, it's not pushing it, but they're really, really making an effort, and as far as promoting historical black colleges. And so we go on and we find out that we see that Charley is basically get out of jail. So Aunt Violet comes in and she asks Charley exactly how you doing. Charley says, I'm doing pretty good. Everything is well and everything. And so this is when Aunt Violet gives Charley this information that basically Sam has basically gave her. And so Nova and Charley and Violet is basically reading all of this information. And what it was is like it's their books. In other words, all of this information shows that basically Frances had basically paid off two people to basically burn down the sugar mill, and she also had paid off a lot of people. And so this is when Nova tells Charley, said, this information is very good, but we will have to basically move very, very careful with this information. And then this is when Charley and Nova, as Aunt Violet, says, Aunt Violet, where did you get all of this information? And so this is when Aunt Violet says that, I have some tricks up my sleeve, favorites that I basically kind of, have when I need to basically pull them, And then this is when she says, you guys have to remember, basically, I have history. And so, yes, Aunt Violet basically do have history. And that history, when they get ready to come back on season 5, we're going to see how much history that Aunt Violet have, especially due to the fact that she basically helped Sam with the fact with that daughter of him. And then we're gonna go on and a little bit more, and we're gonna find out that Charley and Charley and them are basically at the no. We see that Dollar and Ralph Angel has basically got together, and Dollar has come to the house basically to see Blue, because Ralph Angel and her are basically going to give Blue the package or the prize that Ernest basically bought Blue before he passed on. And so basically we go on and we see that Dollar and Ralph Angel and Blue is basically sitting down, and Blue is they brought the box to Blue, and Blue Dollar opens up the box and basically tells Blue that this is something that he's really gonna enjoy. And so we see that what's inside of the box is a beach ball, and the beach ball has been there for Ernest has been gone for 3 years. So basically, it's been 3 years that box basically been up in the back of that closet, and it still has a little bit of air in it. Come on. But anyway, that's TV. But anyhow, so they basically give the beach ball to Blue, and Blue is basically he's happy about the package. He's happy, but then again, he's not so happy. He's kind of sad. And so we go on and we see that Dollar and Ralph Angel is basically uh, getting ready to sit down. It's because Dollar tells Ralph Angel that she basically want to finish the conversation that they basically was going to start but didn't really have a chance to start. And so this is when Ralph Angel basically tells Dolly exactly how he feels about her and what he thinks about her. And she, in return, tells Ralph Angel how. And so we know that Ralph Angel and basically Dollar is back together again. They're going to basically make a go at it. Now, for me personally, I like the little brown chocolate honeydew. And I think that even though that they're basically going to make a go at it, now remember Ralph Angel did go and let Deshelle or Deshonda know what was going on with Dollar, that the fact that she had a relapse, and he went to take care of her. And so we know that she, told Ralph Angel basically she deserved better. She's not going to be a second fiddle. But remember, she is also his lawyer. Remember, because of the reentry program, he was basically they were trying to shut it down, and it basically had shut down for further notice. Now, you guys remember, she is his lawyer when it comes to representing him and the farmers in that reentry program. So right now it's on hiatus, but I kind of think that even though Ralph Angel says he will always love her, I don't think chocolate honey is done. We're gonna see, because they're coming back on episode season 5. So it's gonna be real good. I'm so happy that they're coming back. And so we go on and we see the family. The family is basically everybody is basically getting ready for to find out exactly how Charley basically did at the pub. But before that, we see that Calvin and Nova is coming to the party, and Nova, before that, I think I talked about them, they are getting ready to move in together, and basically that's going to be very interesting. And Nova want to introduce Calvin to the family. So Calvin comes in, and they're holding hands, they're really happy and everything. And so Aunt Violet basically look, and then Charley, stop what she's doing. And then we see Michael over there in the cut, pretending to, unravel a bunch of stuff because he's putting, I guess, the speakers up. And so he basically, so Nova basically introduced Calvin to Aunt Violet. And Aunt Violet says, oh, she was getting ready to say, oh, I read a lot about you. But then she changes. She says, oh, I heard a lot about you. Nice to meet you. So then Aunt Violet says, look, I got to go over and basically, get some things ready. And then Nova introduced Charley. Charley looks at Calvin. Yeah, Calvin is nice looking. Charley looks at him, and she smiles and, introduce herself. She was good to see him. And then we go on and we see that he goes over to Micah and tells Micah he understands. Congratulations on his decision of going to, a historical black college. And he tells her, well, he says, thank you, I hope it work out. And this cover says, well, yeah, it's going to work out. I think it's going to work out. I think Micah is going to be okay, but it's definitely going to be a more shock to him. And so we go on and we see that Charley is down by 3%. Charley's down by 3%, and everybody's, basically, kind of, not kind of down, but then this is when she steps up and say, don't really be down and everything. It's okay. She says, she talks about this one woman who, found out about, things were going on. And she says, don't worry about it. We're going to be fine. And so this is when we see that Charley basically talks to, I think his name was Hakeem, I think his name was basically Hakeem. And so she goes on and talked to the little boy who basically ravaged Aunt Violet's diner. And so Charley tells him that she's going to basically do all of this she can to see and to work on getting his father and his brother out of detention. So here's another storyline that they're basically probably horn in on the fact that Charley, being a councilman woman now, is going to be basically stepping up to the plate and talking about, trying to get Hakeem's family out of detention. So in season 5, I'm just, I'm like looking at, how they wrapped it up, but also left a little loophole where there basically will be storylines onto it, right? And so while we go on and we find out that Charley wins, so we find out that Charley wins, she's the councilman. Thank goodness she wins, but then after she wins, she sees that her phone is basically ringing, and it sees that she gets a text. Now, she gets a text from the elusive Parker Campbell. And so before she goes to visit Parker Campbell, we see that Charley has went to this swanky restaurant and to meet Francis. And while she's, Charley had on her power suit. She had on this Nehru suit, buttoned down, dressed to the T, fit to the T, but I like the way it was like collar shaped up here, Nehru basically, down with the buttons. I like stuff like that. I can wear that. And so, I wouldn't wear the whole complete suit. They have to work out, probably would be pants for me. Oh, then again, I don't know, because every once in a while I wear a skirt. So anyway, we see Charley comes in the restaurant. This restaurant, like I said, was all swanky. And in the back of it, you can see the camera kind of pan in and let you see that Sam basically was at the same restaurant that Francis was at. And so Charley comes in and she sits down, and Francis tells Charley, well, I took the moment to order some tea. I'm thinking to myself, do you really want to drink something that Francis will order for you? But hey, who knows? And so this is when Charley tells Francis, Francis says, well, I see you won, congratulations. She says, well, my son wasn't really tough to, Jacob wasn't really tough about basically running, being a councilman anyway, right? And so we go on and we see that Charley basically tells Francis, because Francis says, well, yeah, you won and everything, and then Charley says, I'm not, the seat ain't even hot, and you guys are, throwing, bribes and stuff at me already. And so this is when Charley tells Francis that basically, I know who did it. You basically set up everything. I know about everything that you did and everything. As far as the two men basically confessing due to the fact that they confessed the fact that they, set fire, set arson to my meal, and you were a product of it. And so this is when we see the police basically comes in to the Schwanky restaurant, and they says Francis, what is Francis, what is it, Bordelon? No. What's that last name? But anyway, they arrested Francis. Every once in a while I get a brain freeze. But anyway, police is basically come in and tell Francis you're under arrest for burning down Queen Sugar's mill. And then they basically were getting ready to put the handcuffs on the old woman, right? And then the old rich woman, she said, "How dare you? Don't you dare." I was like, they need to basically lock her ass up. They should have put those writers. I don't even know why y'all basically stopped not even writing. I wanted to see her bun locked up. I wanted to see her handcuffs. I want to see her go to jail. I want to see that door slam when y'all come back for season 5. I want to see Francis in that jail. I want to see Francis in that jail. And so we go on, and we, like I said, she receives a text from Parker Campbell. And so basically, Charley goes and see the elusive Parker Campbell. But before I get into that, I missed the section where that Nova basically go and talk to Ralph Angel. And basically, Ralph Angel tells Charley, Ralph Angel tells Nova, didn't I tell you basically not to basically come? And then this is when Nova says, I cannot stay away. I have to come to talk to you. And she says that, I know that I made some mistakes and everything, but I have something to give you. And so this is when she presents Ralph Angel with the book that Martha, her cousin, basically gave to Nova. And so this is when Ralph Angel said, I don't even know who Martha is or anything. And so Nova says, well, here's the book. This book is basically for you. It's in Mom's handwriting. And I need to let you know that Mom has not been cremated. Mom is buried on this farm. And so that's when we find out that Ralph Angel and somewhat, Ben and Nova gave him the book. And then this is when Nova told Ralph Angel that Mom is buried somewhere on this land. And then we find out that Ralph Angel has 800 worth of acres. He has a lot of land. 800 acres. That's a lot of land. And so we go on and we find out that Nova had a little conversation, and this is when we see Prosperous. They bring in Prosperous. We see Prosperous and Ralph Angel and Nova sitting there. And basically Nova is talking to Prosperous, and Nova let Prosperous know that Trudy is still has been buried on the ground, that she was not cremated. And so this is when Prosperous said, Trudy is buried on the ground, and it says yes. And so this is when Nova asked Prosperous, do you remember when Ernest was out walking and everything? Do you basically know where she was basically walking? And so this is when they say, yeah, we basically know, I basically know. And so we go on and we see that while Nova is basically, getting all the information, finding out where Trudy is, we see that Charley has basically come to the office, and I guess the secretary, and the guy says, Miss Campbell is, Mr. Campbell, Miss Bordelon Campbell is basically waiting for you. And so this is when uh, Charley basically walks in the office, and this is where she sees this guy sitting down, typing and everything, and doing something. And so Charley says, "Oh wow, I finally get to meet the elusive Parker Campbell." And so when she says Parker Campbell, this is when this woman turns around and says, "Thank you. I will basically talk to you later on." And basically, if you guys, and I'm sure a lot of you all who basically did check this episode out, you gotta go and check this out. You gotta go. And this is a very good episode. This was like, let me go on. And so this is when Charley saw who Parker Campbell was, she basically was looking like she had basically saw a ghost. Like Nova says, must be a ghost. This Parker Campbell has to be a ghost. And when Charley saw who Parker Campbell was, she looked as if she saw a ghost, because the way she looked at it, she looked like she wanted to haul hell tail, take her pocketbook and haul the hell on out of Dodge City. And so this is when the elusive Parker Campbell introduces herself to Charley. And then this is when she tells Charley that she works with the Beckham group, and that she basically makes things happen, and basically she follows where the dollar bills are. And so this is when Charley says, "Oh yeah, basically you sold your soul and everything. So in other words, you're a lobbyist." And then this is when this I'm gonna tell you guys, that's why I said, Nova, you guys, y'all did it. This was definitely a twisted turn, but it leaves a basically cliffhanger. I'm thinking that it's a cliffhanger, and I'm gonna tell y'all why I think and I know that it's a cliffhanger, because all hell's getting ready to break out between these two black women. And what's gonna be happening? What's going to be happening is that Parker Campbell, right? She works for the Beckham group, right? And so she basically told Charley, she said, the reason why I brought you here is because we still going to bring that highway in. And Charley says, "Okay, y'all know that I am the councilman, and that highway ain't coming." And she says, "Well, that's one reason why I called you here, to see whether or not if we can kind of like work and see if whether or not if you can basically get, the people together, so get them ready so they can be prepared for this fracking, right?" And so this is when she kept saying, we. And then so she says, she tells her secretary, she says, would you have my father to come in, right? Now, who the hell walks into the door? Sam Landry. Sam has basically screwed Charley, and he has basically screwed Aunt Vi. And that's why I said, let the battle begin. Let the battle begin, because they really gonna throw down. I want to see writers. I want to see what y'all do with this storyline, because I'm loving it. Because basically, Sam basically been knowing and been taking care of his daughter for all of these years. He did not abandon his little black girl. He basically made sure that she basically got the best colleges, the best education, like Charley, right? And he basically told Charley, he said that I knew that Frances was going to overstep herself. And this when Parker told Charley that, I guess her auntie or whatever, kind of, didn't get it right with Charley. And so this is when Parker told Charley, look, we want you to basically cooperate with us. If you don't cooperate, basically, we're going to take your land. And Charley looked at her and said, oh, hell. I mean, she didn't say hell, but she said, oh, you going to do what? You are, so you saying, and Charley said, oh, no, you're not. Not that. She says, we're going to be taking my borderline land. The Beckham, what is it? Yeah, the Beckham group, I have already sent a notice out to cease and condemn Ralph Angel's land. I was like, oh, hell. Oh, hell. It's gonna be some battle going on. It's gonna be some battle going on. It's gonna be. And so this is when Parker Campbell and Charley, they looked at each other in the eye, and Parker says, you don't know me. No, Charley tells Parker first, you don't know who I am and you don't know me. And they were like looking each other in the eye, and Charley told Parker Campbell, you don't know me. It's gonna be so rambling in the streets. It's gonna be. And so we had a twist and roll. Basically, Sam basically screwed and Valen, and when that Valen finds out, it's gonna hit the ceiling. It's gonna hit the ceiling. We also know that when Sam and Valen was having the conversation, and Valen told Sam that basically for him to do better, but he ain't doing no better, because the reason why he's away, if his father and Francis has basically caught on that Sam had a black baby, it would have been all hell break loose. So basically, Sam told Charley that it is more proper for, if anybody was going to take Francis down, it would have been better if a woman did it. And so Sam, remember when he was basically at the mill and he told Charley that he wasn't responsible for that? No, he wasn't responsible for it, but he knew who did it. And that's when Aunt Violet called in for the favor. He was basically preparing to screw Aunt Violet too, because he basically knew who did it. But Aunt Violet does not know that Parker been behind and has been with her father all this while. And then Nova, being the investigator that she is, I've been investigating. And Nova says, move real slowly, move very, very slowly. And so we go on, and we know that the Elizabeth Parker Campbell and Charley Bordelon in season 5 are going to be battling each other. And so we go on, and we see that, excuse me for a minute, y'all. I thought I cut this off, but apparently it's still there. I'm inside my office. And so we go on, and we see that they basically had found the landmark where Trudy, I believe her name is, was buried, and it was a beautiful setting. So we basically see that all of the family has basically gotten together, and we also see that they have put a tombstone basically where their mother lands. So they, put a grave mark there. Now, and then we see the end of it. Now, it was a beautiful, beautiful way they wrote it. But this is what I'm thinking. Now, when they ended, I don't know if you guys paid attention to it, but I looked at it like twice or 3 times. We saw the whole family around, where the grave spot where they have found their mother. But right on the side, like right on, okay, this is the family here where I'm at, right? But right on the side, if you all paid any attention to, was a highway. That the highway was like right there, and the grave site was like right there. And so basically, this is going to be very, very interesting when they try to go and snatch up that land, and that they just found their mother, finding out that the mother is basically on the land, and the oh, how I want to put this. I'm going to draw it so y'all could basically see what I'm talking about. The family and the, is it over here? Okay, yeah, it's over here. Okay, I hope y'all guys can see that. Y'all see that right there, right? So what's happening is that this is the grave where they're basically, where all the family was, like around them, right? Around this right here. And if you go back and look at it again, those who have that DVR, go back and look at it again. When it ended, you will see that the family is around this right here, but that road, like that dirt road, like right on the side, is like right there where they are right there. So that's going to be very interesting, and I'm glad that the fact that they are coming back for episode 5, and it's going to be very, very interesting. Like I said, you guys did that one. You guys did that. Congratulations to Queen Sugar, the fact that you will be coming back on the episode 5. Everybody was kind of upset the way I wasn't really upset, because I pretty much figured that you guys were going to be coming back. And how I figured that you guys was going to be coming back is because there were cliffhangers all over the place. You know, with the fact that, you know, Micah is going to an all black school. Charley is basically a councilman. Hollywood is going to be starting his men's lounge, and be gonna get very upset and highly upset when she finds out that Sam screwed over her. Going to be very interesting. Going to be very, very interesting. And the fact that the Beckham group has already sent a letter. She says that they had started sending a letter of decease, and that they're going to be snatching up that 800 acres of land. I don't think so. Nah. But look, I enjoyed you guys. Enjoy your vacation, because we're going to be looking for you. Till the next time, this is All Things Cheryl, and I'll see you guys on Sunday or Monday when Real Black China. Take care. Peace and love.